Every year, the same ritual happens. Magazines release their lists. Articles circulate. People argue about rankings, net worths, and who moved up or down. And every year, the same assumption quietly spreads, that the richest people in the world are the ones whose names you recognize. But that assumption is wrong. The truth is far less exciting on the surface and far more unsettling once you understand it. The most powerful families in the world never appear on rich lists. Not because they are poorer, but because appearing would cost them more than it gives. Visibility is not a reward at that level. It is a liability. Public wealth attracts attention. Attention attracts scrutiny. Scrutiny attracts regulation, lawsuits, political pressure, and social resentment. The moment a family becomes visible, it becomes a target. That is why real dynasties separate ownership from control. What you see is never the full structure. What is listed publicly is never the real center of gravity. When people think of wealth, they imagine accumulation. More money, more assets, more property. But families that last for generations don't think in terms of accumulation. They think in terms of insulation. They build distance between themselves and the world's noise, between their capital and public opinion, between their decisions and consequences. The richest people you hear about are often the ones who are still playing the visibility game. Entrepreneurs, founders, celebrities, executives. They are wealthy, yes, but they are exposed. Old power operates differently. Instead of appearing on lists, it appears inside systems, inside trusts, inside foundations, inside holding structures layered so deeply that no single name tells the story. When a name disappears, influence doesn't. It becomes harder to trace, harder to attack, harder to control. That is not accidental. Being known makes you predictable. Being invisible makes you untouchable. History shows this pattern again and again. Families that sought recognition burned fast. Families that avoided attention endured. When revolutions happened, the loud fortunes were seized first. When laws changed, the visible wealth was taxed hardest. When resentment rose, the known names became symbols. The quiet ones survived every shift. Modern rankings reinforce a dangerous illusion. They suggest that wealth is a scoreboard. That power wants applause. That recognition equals success. But the families who actually shape outcomes don't want applause. They want continuity. They want to move capital across borders without headlines. They want to influence industries without being blamed. They want leverage without exposure. Silence gives them all three. Even today, many of the world's most influential families are known only through fragments. A foundation here, a minority stake there, a philanthropic arm that draws attention away from the core. Their real power sits quietly behind layers of legal separation. They understand something most people don't. The goal isn't to be rich today. The goal is to remain powerful tomorrow. Visibility accelerates decay. Anonymity slows it down. When everyone is watching you, every move becomes expensive. Every mistake becomes public. Every success creates expectations that grow heavier with time. But when no one is watching, patience becomes an advantage. That is why these families resist modern culture's obsession with exposure. They don't build personal brands. They don't chase relevance. They don't explain themselves. They let time do the work. There is also a psychological edge to invisibility. When people underestimate you, they don't compete with you. They don't react to you. They don't anticipate your moves. Underestimation creates space, and space is where leverage grows. The irony is that modern society celebrates transparency while quietly punishing those who practice it too openly. The more visible your wealth, the more fragile it becomes. That is why powerful families rarely talk about money. They talk about values, stewardship, responsibility. Those words are shields. Behind them, capital moves calmly, strategically, without interruption. So when you see a rich list, understand what it really is. A list of people willing to be seen, not a list of people who truly control outcomes. The most powerful families don't appear because they don't need to. Their influence isn't measured in numbers published once a year. It's measured in how quietly they continue. If you want to understand how wealth actually survives generations, not decades, subscribe and come back. Hidden Fortune is just getting started.